Now it's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're excited to bring you episode 223.
223.
What do you think, man?
It's good to be back.
Yeah, buddy.
Took a little break there.
Took a month off.
Little reset. Little local racing going on.
A lot of local racing going on, dude.
Money Open winner at Toledo.
Still isn't like winning a national at Waterford Oaks.
Oh, I didn't get any money, man.
Hey, every now
got
and then.
a trophy.
Now and then the sun shines on a dog's ass.
That was cool, though, man.
It was a good time. We got a great show for you this evening. Tonight, for episode 223, we have Bill Sharp for Looking Sharp. The legend himself is going to join us this evening. Cool dude doing cool shit. Going to have a good time this evening. You guys know where to watch us, man. Make sure you guys get your comments in. If you got questions for Bill, you want to talk trash on Chris and I, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. You guys, we are here at the ATB studio that is brought to you by our good friends over at the Harley-Davidson
Motor City
Harley-Davidson in Farmington Hills, here at the Ethan Clark Studios. Big things happening, Motor City Harley-Davidson this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Year-end roundup, dude.
Yeah.
You got to trade in, bring it in. They got an open house this weekend. So bring your bike in, check it out. Say hi to Nick over there, big supporter of the show.
Yeah.
Just re-upped.
Did he?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So he's on for another 6 months.
Cool.
Yeah, got to take him into the
Thank
new
you,
year.
Nick. Motor City Harley-Davidson, thank you.
Yeah, man. Chris and I
Appreciate
are here at the Getaware news desk. If you guys are looking for the coolest in lifestyle apparel, make sure you guys check out Getaware. He sent a little care package our way, didn't he?
Yeah. He's out right here.
Check it out. I got a hat to wear. I got a new hat to wear. He sent.
Yeah.
He sent you.
Thank you, Bill.
What are those the hand grip things? The
these
clips.
things are cool. Let me grab them.
Yeah. So, dude.
So these are from like back in the 80s, and they are called
hand things.
Hand things. All right, see these guys? So, Bill Prince, what you do where these holes are, you slide these on your grips, and then you put your hand in here, and it's, I don't know, holds your hand on the handlebars. And I guess the sanction, NBL, ABA, what at the time, did not like that idea too much.
Dude, the 80s were wild times, man.
But these things are cool.
Yeah.
They're kind of like those big plastic deflectors, they have on the motorcycles.
For the Enduros.
Enduro motorcycle, yeah. So these things are cool.
You know what I've been using it for? When I'm framing, I put it on the hammer, the top and the bottom.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah. He said he sold a lot of them for that. So guys like are roofing and stuff, and they're hammering.
Look at all that, dude. I don't do roofing. I don't get up on roofs.
No roofs.
No.
I'm not big on
You don't
roofs
pay me
either.
enough for that. Our show doesn't happen without the support of the following sponsors and supporters. First and foremost, brand new sponsor to the show, our good friends down in Florida, Krupp and Carter. Got one of their cool shirts right there. Look at that.
Terrence hooking us up.
Yeah, and we got a gift pack, major gift pack this evening that has a bunch of stuff in there and some stuff
for the
Krupp
trivia?
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, Krupp & Carter is the official BMX brand made for BMXers. You guys, if you haven't done it, make sure you get over. Check them out. All their stuff, it's like awesome graphics, great quality. It's a fun brand. Join the Krupp & Carter clothing company. Stop wearing those skater brands. On two wheels, when you guys are at the next net. Well, you're going to be at Grand's, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're going to be at Grand's. Go over there. Say, tell Jeremy he said hi.
Yeah. If you need some parts while you're there, you have an emergency, go over and see Jeremy at On Two Wheels. He'll help you out, man.
Yeah. And our good friends there at the Hack Shack, man. If you guys are looking for a side hack to get hooked up and race at the Grands.
Oh yeah, talk to Mike Melvin at the Hack Shack.
Right there.
He can build the side hack to fit any bike you want it to go on.
You just ship him the bike, he builds it.
Custom.
Yeah, man. Our good friends over at Wrenchman Wheel Builds. You guys are looking to get your wheels built, your next dream build, or whatever you need. Make sure you guys check out Wrenchman Wheel Builds. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Ryan and Sean, you guys are already in the chat. We appreciate it. Dye Job Apparel. They got this. They got the trivia question this evening. That's going to have the grand package. It's the month off trivia package.
Month off trivia.
Our good friends at DB Sports World. All the links for our partners and sponsors of the show will be in the show notes. Melissa is off this evening, so our good friend DVS is hanging out at the Gate 9 Custom Number Plates Producers Perch. He's a man of very little words, so
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to say, does he?
he's got some of that money from the Toledo Money Open, though.
Oh, is that? Hey, Danger Snacks. Make sure you check them out. They bring us our guest this week. Danger Snacks is a snack that has the difference between dragon ass and Holland ass. And don't forget, when you place your order, use our discount code
Shit show.
and get a discount.
Chris doesn't cuss that word.
Nope. Show Chat sponsored by BMX Rocks Photography.
You see all them pics?
Yes, I got
Richfields ones and
she
Waterfords.
had-
and
I got
Toledos.
I swiped a couple of them.
There you go. See
Yeah.
that stuff?
Yeah,
She got a couple-
Roxanne.
She got a couple pics of me looking like I'm actually going fast. She's real good with the angles.
She's really good at making us look fast.
She frames everybody out of the picture so you look like you're going really fast. So you can take that picture in the work and be like, look at this.
That's right.
Look at this.
Yeah. You guys, you need to go check out. So it's BMX_rocks, ROX.com. You can order pictures on there. You can get your picture on a coffee mug, T-shirt.
Yep.
So, go check that out. If Roxanne and Mo have been over at a race you're at, go look at her pictures and see if you can find yourself in there. You can order something up. Christmas is coming. It's going to be here before you know it. So, trivia. I'm sorry. Our chat question.
There we go.
For the evening. What are you doing for your training before Grands?
If you were going to Grands,
If I was going,
would you be doing any training?
yeah, I would be at the track every chance I could get,
Okay.
riding, doing gates, all that. That's what I would be doing. And of course, Shelly would have me eating the good food that better than I already am, I guess. But
Yeah.
she'd be all over that. No cheeseburgers.
I'll continue 12-ounce curls.
I figured as much.
Good stuff. What do you guys put it in the chat? Let us
Yeah,
know
let
what
us
you guys
know.
are doing if you're going to Grands, if you're not,
Yeah.
and what training you're doing if it's
Hey.
12-ounce curls.
Speaking of Grands training, Waterford Oaks next week. DL
DL's going to be
DL is going to be at Waterford Oaks next week. All next week. I think Monday through Thursday.
You think we could get him here?
Hey,
I don't know. We could try.
that's worth a DL. If you're watching, text us.
Chris,
We'll have you on.
you didn't tell everybody to subscribe yet.
Yeah. Make sure you like and subscribe.
On what? Facebook,
Facebook and
Instagram.
Instagram and YouTube too.
Man, I worked like 10 minutes on these overlays.
Those are cool.
Well,
Look at
sometimes.
that. We're looking like we know what we're doing.
Not at all. Let's welcome our guest on.
Yes, let's do that. Here we go.
Bill, welcome to the show.
Going on?
Man,
How are we doing?
been looking forward to having you on for a while, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited to chat with you. So let's start out with, how did you get started in the sport of BMX?
It's one of those kids that hanging out doing nothing, and the Owl family and Joe LaMarche back in the day, Patterson, all the NorCal guys said, "Hey, BMX track in Aptos, let's go." There you go. That's how it started.
Really?
Yep.
So what was your what were you using for a bike then?
Moto Pro.
Moto Pro. Not heard of that one. Nope.
They were made in the Bay Area. Very short time. That was the in bike, for beginner, back in the day. So
Huh. That's cool.
How old
So-
were you when you started?
1976. So I think it was 9.
9.
Okay.
All right.
9, yeah, going on 10. 'Cause I wasn't a novice for very long. So
No.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you remember how you did that first race?
I won it.
Did you,
Ooh, all
Yeah.
right.
dude?
9 novice. And it was crazy because, we didn't have vans. We wore boots. We wore Yamaha jerseys. We wore whatever we could get
Yeah.
and just made it happen. And then it just kind of grew from there and, got better and better and started hanging out with different people and riding and doing sprints and jump rope. And, as a 9, 10-year-old kid, it was cool, to get involved in BMX.
You said this was around 76, you said?
Yeah, that was my first race in 1976.
So that's before you really got into the BMX specific parts, and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
just the beginning of all that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right, cool. So you started winning right away. Usually we ask, so when did you start realizing you were doing well? But apparently you did that from the get-go.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. How hard is it to pedal your bike?
Uh,
Pedal
Well,
your
it
bike.
depends on.
I was taller and leaner than everybody else. It's like, what are you doing? I just one of those kids who just pedal my bike,
Right.
and got in with the Pattersons and Joe LaMarche and Chris Al, and then Chris says, "Hey, let's put those weights on our ankles and go do sprints."
Oh.
Just those back in the that your mom had them for doing her stuff in the garage working out or whatever. So we'd borrow those and go do ride around with those ankle weights, and all
Oh
of a
my
sudden
gosh.
were you doing any other sports like when you found BMX?
oh yeah, Pop
Yeah.
Warner football and baseball, basketball. I did all that stuff when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Did you keep doing it while you were racing?
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because when I got older, I think it was 11, 12 expert,
Mhm.
and then playing baseball and racing, and then Pop Warner football and racing. And then I took kind of a little break when I was like 14, 15.
Mhm.
And then I got my license when I was 16. So I jumped on a cruiser, started racing again. And that's when I met going to my first national at the Orange Y, and
Oh.
met Mark Darcy and all those guys, the SoCal guys, Craig Turner, all them. That's kind of how it started, and I just would race off and on for a long time. So
you had a few years before you did your first national, then, right?
yeah, well, no, 'cause my first national I think was in 77, 78 maybe.
Okay.
I did Bakersfield, Vegas,
Oh, shoot.
LA. I mean, LA, there was one all the time. Coal Canyon. Yeah, I mean, all those crazy tracks down there were a blast.
Mhm.
So,
So you said you got back you got back into racing like 16, 15.
yeah, I was too big for a 20-inch, so
Okay.
I went to a cruiser.
You went to
when I
cruiser.
was
Okay.
16.
How'd that
shoot.
national end up for you?
I made the main.
Hey, good enough right there.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's no joke.
Nope.
Making a main at a national
What's
is a big deal.
Yeah, what sanction were you racing the national in? Was it the ABA, NBL, or one of the other ones?
ABA.
Was ABA?
Yeah, because we were all ABA in NorCal,
Okay.
Okay.
and then SoCal, and then NBL. We didn't get involved with NBL till the 90s.
So
Yeah.
at 16, when you're doing this national, it's putting you like what,
ABA.
or ABA,
Yeah.
putting you right around the mid 80s, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Get into the heyday, so to say.
And the thing is, like, I didn't know anything back then. I just rode and had fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a SE, and that didn't last very long for me.
No?
Aluminum frame. So I had to go back to the roots and either ride a Patterson or
Okay.
a Boss. I think my first real race bike was a 24-inch Boss.
Really? Okay.
Those are good. Those are cool.
You hear a lot
bikes.
about Boss. I'm not real familiar with Boss, but it's been around for a long time. It's a NorCal company.
Yeah, growing up in NorCal, I know it kind of changed hands over the years, but Carlos was the one that was building all the frames back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I rode for Wes's BMX, out of Scotts Valley.
Was that
And,
a shop or?
Yeah, it was a bike shop, and he was like the first real big mail order company
He
back
was.
then.
What was it called?
Wes's BMX.
WES.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
side story here, real quick. When I got into BMXing,
Uh-huh.
like in the mid 90s, they were every bit as big as like a Dance Comp mail order.
Yeah, he was like the
Really?
biggest before Dance Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would have been prior to me getting in for
Right
sure. But
around
yeah,
that time. Okay.
I ordered a lot of stuff from them.
Yeah. Yeah, but they every weekend, we'd be going to LA or Vegas or somewhere, and it's always a parent driving. They got a van, and the parents would take turns driving, and us kids would be in the back sleeping, and
Mm-hmm.
going to Vegas and meeting Tracer Finn and all those guys for the first time. It was fun. It was a good
Tracer
time.
Finn.
So you're going around, driving around, doing the nationals, riding the bikes. When, like, how far did you go? Did you ever transition out of expert into any sort of semi-pro class or anything like that?
No, just rode. I rode 20-inch for a long time, and then I finally outgrew it when I was about 17. All of a sudden, I'm 6'4",
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and so I went to a 24 and just rode cruiser. I've never was a pro or anything. I always raced like maybe pro open at the money track or something, fun
oh yeah.
local stuff. But I never was a pro. I wasn't that good. I mean, my main sport was since I was a bigger kid was probably football, and that was kind of, but it kept me from getting major injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Racing BMX, and it's a family sport, and you have so many friends that you meet from when we were kids
Mm-hmm.
to now
Right.
we're in our 60s and we're all reconnecting. That's
Yeah.
that's what's fun about BMX.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's the thing. Now you can have you got families out there where you have grandparents,
Oh yeah,
parents, grandchildren,
like
all
my
racing.
grandkids. My grandkids are all into rodeo stuff and all that. They don't want no part of BMX.
No,
They'd rather
hey,
go ride a horse and go around barrels and stuff like that than get involved with BMX. So
hey, rodeo's no joke, man.
I imagine that's probably every bit as expensive as chasing a nag plate.
my
Oh,
7-year-old
bro, keep going.
granddaughter just won her first state belt buckle.
Really?
7 years old on a big old horse. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So
7?
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
Oh.
That is.
I'll have to send you pictures, but
Yeah.
I'm the guy there with shorts, Vans, t-shirt, hat, and glasses.
Sticking
I'm not
out like a
rodeo
sore
guy.
thumb.
I stand out like a sore thumb, but hey, it's my grandkid. I'm gonna come watch him.
Right,
So,
right. So they're doing barrels or?
yeah, they're
Sweet.
racing around barrels and poles.
Yep. Sweet.
Yeah, and as they get older, they'll do other stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get more involved,
When you
Yeah.
just like BMX.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were racing, kind of growing up racing, was there ever like a bike? Because you said you did the aluminum thing and then you ended up going back
Yeah.
to the chromoly. Was there ever one bike you wanted to ride though that you didn't get?
Red line, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of the newer red lines that came out, and I think in Caston had one of their first 24-inch bikes. Those are badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just back then, you didn't have the money, man. Those frames were like the best you could buy.
Mm-hmm.
And going riding for Wes's BMX, you could get any part you wanted to ride. It's just you got to pay for it. My dad was a
Right.
school teacher, football coach and all that. So it's kind of like, I don't know, you can go to the national or you can get new forks. What do you want? So
Yeah.
I'll go to the national. So
And if I remember, I could be wrong. You can probably correct me on this, Bill. But like back then, early '80s, a frame, chromoly frame would be about what, like $150, $175.
yeah, less than $200.
Yeah, under
Chrome.
200. Chromoly, chromed out. Yeah.
I always wanted a painted one though. I got like a yellow, a yellow one. I think I had a black one back in the day. So I just rode chrome ollie. That's all I've ever ridden. So
Still now? You still ride the chromoly?
Yeah.
Do?
yeah, in 1997, it's when Boss was owned by someone else. Trevor Pickett, Roy's brother, built me a Boss 24.
Mm-hmm.
The chainstay is off a dirt jumper, just so I wouldn't twist and break it.
Okay.
I rode that thing for, gosh, almost my whole adult, racing.
Mm-hmm.
That cruiser. I traveled every NBL or ABA national, Florida to Pennsylvania to wherever, Tennessee. I still have that bike to today. All the same. The thing is, I've changed some parts on it, but I showed it at the bike show, last weekend, so it was pretty fun. So
That's cool.
So like around 97, wasn't that when? Was it Veltman that rode for him?
yeah, it might, because I know the late 70s, mid 70s, those guys were all making that transition and turning pros, and
Yeah.
Greg Romero and all those guys. I mean, all
Mm-hmm.
those local kids,
Yeah.
Townsend and all them, that they were,
Mm-hmm.
they were fast.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
was it you decided that you were like, hey, I've done the racing, but I want to start making my own parts?
Coming out of the gate and pulled a sprocket. I won't name the company,
Okay.
and landing on my head and got a headache, And I said, Dan, you guys are making stuff too cheap,
Mm-hmm.
too thin.
Ah,
So I said,
cutting
okay.
corners.
I went to a friend of mine in Santa Cruz. I grew up with John King. He owned a machine shop. And I went to him and say, I want to make this. I want to design it this way. So then that's when I met Dwayne Taylor at the local track.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwayne and Chad Kagi in that group, being in Santa Cruz, that we all rode around.
Yeah.
Right.
So Dwayne designed the sprocket for me, took it to John. He built a couple. Chad Kagi started riding it. Colin McKay started riding it. The dirt jumper guys started riding
Yeah, I was
it.
gonna say these guys are all not racers. They end up being like vert
Yeah.
riders and dirt jumpers.
Yep. And then it just took off, man. It just
About
it was
what year? What year is this happening?
early 2000s.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just tired of breaking stuff,
Uh-huh.
and then and then your stem would strip out, and use better material. Don't use cheap stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now my stuff was a little heavier back in the day. Used American made bolts, American made stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I tried to do, is to keep it in the US. And never had an issue. Cameron Birdwell would run the sprocket till there was no teeth on him. And he was a ramp kid,
Bro,
man. Those kids,
he was a
they were
beast.
crazy, So that was my testers back then.
Okay.
Stick to sprockets. That's what they did.
Right.
So
And these were Sharp bicycle part. What was the company?
Sharp Sprockets is how I started it. And
Okay.
then I had to transition to start Sharp Bicycles,
Okay.
What
as
was
we started
the
to build more stuff,
Yeah, like what were some of the other products you ended up going into from the heads, like your stems and the sprockets?
Did stems and sprockets. We did frame and forks. We did bars, 2 or 3 different size bars. I did a couple runs of hubs, and then we also did a pedal.
Were the frames, were they all race frames, or were you making?
I made a dirt jumper frame, and then I also made a race 24 and a race 20.
Shoot. Okay. So
All
you
right.
got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I dabbled in a little bit of everything. I had some really good friends. Bill at Supercross helped me with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Dyer, that owns Vendetta and all that, and owns Elite Bikes out here in the West Coast. He's the one who designed the cruiser, because at the time, he was the #1 cruiser. A Pro, Double A Pro. I mean, that kid, Eric, raced every class you could race, and I put him. He ran Sharp for a long time, until he decided to get a bike shop, and when I got out of it,
Sure.
Yeah.
and then picking up like people like Dwayne rode for me for a while. Then I had Jill Kittner for a while. I mean, it was just fun. It was just a good time. I had to make their stuff a lot lighter, and that's when I got in touch with Rick at Standard and said, Rick, I'm only going chromoly. What can you do for me? So he designed, and we changed a few things on the bikes and put a different emblem on them and a few other things, and that's how the race stuff started. So
Cool.
Did you have a race team that you ran around? Like,
yeah.
How many people were on?
God, I don't know. At one time, I had a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it you looked for, like when you were going to sponsor a rider back then?
Just be a good person.
That's it.
You don't need to go out drinking and be stupid in the parking lot and get in fights.
Yeah.
Tear up hotel rooms. Be an adult, or be a good kid, and let people look up to you. That was kind of my motto. Just give it all. Make your main. How hard is it to make a main? Train.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it took off. I had some really good kids.
Yeah.
So
You had
Cool.
mentioned some people that helped you,
yeah.
Rick and Bill. Were there anybody else kind of when you were getting started that you remember that kind of helped you navigate through starting your own BMX company?
Yeah, I mean, it was Dwayne was the number one.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Dyer. Uh, Jill had her 2 cents in because she was a girl pro, so we needed to make something for her
Mm-hmm.
lighter. I mean, a 3 pound frame back then, chromoly was unheard of,
Yeah,
and
it
she
was.
was on it. You know,
Wow.
and then Scott Tooth, Scott from Huffy, when he had Huffy, he was telling me, hey, you need to do this, you need to build it like this, and we'll run it. And every Huffy rider, except for I think Stumpy, didn't run him because he was sponsored by Profile, and I think Todd Lyons was sponsored by Odyssey back then. But everybody else, Schmidt and all the other guys, they all ran Sharp.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest
Wow.
teams out there to run Sharp sprockets and stems.
Yeah,
Wow,
that was
that's cool.
That was like in the day when they were huge. Like they had Jimmy Levan
Yeah.
and
I
Todd
mean,
Lyons and all them.
Schmidt and all those guys,
Yeah.
they were so big and so physical. Tom Coe, Jason Richardson, Abadessa. I put Eric on my stuff. He said, dude, this is unreal. He says, I'm getting a half a turn or a full turn coming out of the gate strength wise. He can feel the bike.
Mm-hmm.
If you get flex, you're going to lose horsepower, So I just kind of made things a little heavier, a little more different material, just made it work for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
They were getting that on your chromoly frames.
They were running their own stuff,
Oh, this is on your
running
parts.
the Huffy stuff.
This is on your
They were
parts.
just running sprockets and stems, and they could notice the difference running a sprocket. I ran 1/4-inch sprocket.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, that's too heavy, you can't turn it. But on the back side, I machined it out, so you got the thickness, but you got the lightness from when we machined the backside out. So it was competitive weight wise with everybody else.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you think your like competitive advantage is what set you apart during that time? The fact that your
It was
stuff
just
worked.
durability.
Was it?
I mean, I remember parents and kids coming to the track and, getting a wreck or something and the sprocket bends. Oh, we got to go to the tent and get another one. Try something different. I mean, it's the industry. Things come in phases. I just happened to build things a little thicker, a little stronger, stayed chromoly for frames, and just made things a little different. I wasn't the lightest company out there, but I knew that till this day, I go to the track and they're still running the same gear that they bought 15 years ago.
Right.
So
If it ain't broke, don't fix. Nobody
Yeah.
can fix it. So.
yeah, so it was fun. It was a good time. I mean, I had so many good people, and Chad, Roberts, when Chad was at Shimano, he says, hey, make a sprocket like we make them and they'll last. And I did. Shimano only made a couple sizes back in the day for their cranks. So I went ahead and made 37 through 47.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had an option.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
What did your design process look like?
Dwayne did it for me.
Did he?
Said, hey,
Okay.
yeah, he just said, hey, let's make a couple different designs. And I don't like that. And then he made the one that's stuck for all these years, So, and then you could flip it around if you ovaled out the little, bolt on your crank arm. You could just flip it and run it again. Keep running it. So,
Yeah, because you had it on the other side, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Oh, so you flip. Okay. I
Yeah.
see what you mean. So
Yeah, you just spin it.
Just spin it.
spin it.
Let's see. I think.
Take the
you send me a
inside
picture?
and flip it to the outside.
No. You just had to turn.
No.
You turn it like
rotate it.
Just rotate it.
Rotate it 180.
Yeah. And he had another spot on the top for your crank arm bolt to go through.
Oh, the bolt that goes into the crank
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember that from like at the time.
The red line flights were like that.
I was riding. I wasn't really racing much. I was just kind of like tooling around doing parks and stuff. And I remember like somebody had one of your sprockets, and that happened at a park out in here in Michigan. And I was like, I had to go get one myself after that because he was doing like a lot of crank arm slides and shit, and he just like spun the thing around and retightened it down, and it worked.
Huh.
And then I came out with the 420 sprocket, which was, we were thinking how big a teeth could I make it and make it work with the regular freewheel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
I thought that was a cannabis product or something.
We ran a 420 chain, which the chain we got from an automatic gate that opened up.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you pull in the gate, and that's a 420 chain that they use. So we made a 420 kit that came with a sprocket, a chain, and a freewheel.
Really?
It was thick.
Yeah.
It was thick.
Germany, the guys in Germany, they bought everything I could make.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it was back then. It's cool. You know, let's go bash stuff.
I mean, it sounds like you've been in this for a minute. You know a lot. You've seen some things change. And what do you think of the decimal gearing?
I don't know, man. That's beyond me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I've never had to use that stuff. I don't know. I guess it works.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I'm old school.
There's
20 inch, everybody runs 44/16, and 24, you're running a 39/17 or 41/18. I mean, it's not, you can get to half this or quarter this or quarter. It's not going to make any difference if you can't pedal your bike.
It's a great answer.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like that.
You go talk to all the old school, you know, Stanley Robinson and all those guys and everything. You know, Joe LaMarche and all them, the Pattersons, what did you have to do? You had to pedal your bike. You had to train. You had to lift weights, and you had to do jump rope, and you had to go to the gym if you're going to be a pro. You can't just not do that stuff. Look at the guys now. Look at the women now, how good they are.
Yeah.
Look at Allison, all those girls. I mean, when I picked up Jill Kittner, Jill was above everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
She could jump because she had a brother that taught her how to ride a bike.
Yep.
You go to pro girls in Florida, Jill's hitting the doubles and the triples, and that's, and then all of a sudden she makes a transition to mountain biking, and she's just world champ.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, she was in the first go around the Olympics too, in 08.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was hurt. She wasn't even 100%.
Yeah. 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 No, she's cool.
Dedication. Put the time in. Get a trainer. Ride your rollers. Do whatever you need to do, but you got to put the time in.
Oh yeah.
If you guys got a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Appreciate everyone jumping in the chat. John Gaynor, Dave D'Artonia, Hacksaw's hanging out with us this evening. Rick Carter from over at Beer Budget. We appreciate it. Ken Kellogg tuning in. Thank you guys. You're all tuning in on your channels. Ryan Baumgartner from down there in Florida. Tom Johnson's joining us. Sean Gifford from over at Dye Job Apparel. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. If you guys got questions for Bill, put them in there. You got comments, whatever it is, put them in the chat. We'll get them in, get them on the show. Bill, you are still in the sport right now, correct?
Yeah, as far as riding locally and showing up every once in a while and doing the bike show stuff. That's what's fun for me now.
Yeah, and you're very passionate about these bike shows and the old school stuff. So kind of walk us through a little bit on these bike shows you're doing. So a couple weekends ago, the local track that one of the local tracks that Chris and I race at, they had a bike show.
Oh yeah.
And for me, it was the first time I got to experience a BMX only bike show, right? So the track had a race, and they said, "Hey, we got a bike show we're going to do." Craig Dragna was the judge and kind of organizer of this. He's a big supporter of the show. It was really neat for me because like these guys and gals showed up early, and they were taking these bike. They had trailers. Dude. They brought trailers with BMX bikes in, which blew my mind. And they were pulling them out, wiping them down. Ones. That guy, but there was a dude to my right where we normally set up.
Yep.
I forget what kind of bikes he had, him and his buddy, some red lines and various ones. But they were like wiping them all down and setting them up in the little area they kind of made the display area. And again, for me, this is my very first time experiencing this, and I'm one that I really enjoy what you guys do. Like Chris has a really nice Patterson that he brought out and showed off, but I didn't collect anything. Like I got in the mid 90s, so like I just have to talk about all the stuff I lost. But seeing that group within our world of BMX was really cool. Yeah. There's a lot of bikes.
And a lot of those folks that brought those bikes aren't people that race now.
Yeah, that was different.
They're collectors or, guys from back in the 80s. They don't even race now.
Mm-mm.
But, man, it was
They
really
hung out. They watched
cool.
the race. And it was, again, really cool to see that side of the sport that I have not seen. So you're involved in this. Tell us what you're involved in and who's doing the stuff you're doing, and I'll pop the slideshow up here while you're talking about it.
It's Mark Darcy and Craig Turner and all those guys started, what is it, ABSA? And Let me tell you what, man, you talk about the heart and soul that these guys put into these bikes and the shows that they put on, unreal. 2 weeks ago, I drove down to LA for this show. Barry Nilsson, I mean, the whole gang is there that, they ride their bikes, but this is the new thing now. I mean, this is really fun to come to because you're going to see bikes that you wanted when you were a kid. Then you're going to see bikes that you raced that you wish you kept. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
I know that.
But, yeah, and then you'll see like a part on a bike.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you'll have that flashback to that old BMX Plus or BMX Action. Yeah. Oh, I remember the ad for grab-on grips. There's a pair of those grips right there on that bike. Holy cow. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I mean, years ago when they first started doing shows, Craig was doing shows at his dad's warehouse. And I drove down. Mark Darcy got a hold of me and said, man, you need to come down to this bike show and bring one of your bikes and blah, blah, blah. Like, man, I haven't been around BMX. I kind of got a bad taste in my mouth, Mm-hmm. And he goes, no, it's fun. You'll see everybody that you raced with. I'm like, all right. I drove all the way down there and I had a great time, and it's kind of the thing now, now I think next year they're going to start doing these shows during the national. That way people can walk over and say, hey man, I had that bike when I was a kid. And now their kids or grandkids are racing now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the other thing you get at these, I've been to a few of them here in Michigan, and that in the stories, hey, either, this is something I had from when I was a kid, or I always wanted this and I found it at a garage sale and I bought it and now I have one, or, my buddy, one of them, our friend Paul, one of his friends passed away, and his parents gave Paul his race bike. Now Paul has that, and it's something he'll never get rid of because it was one of his really good friends' bikes, and they used to race together back in the 80s. So you hear all these kind of stories, or you get the story of, hey, they only made 10 of these, and I have one of them, and they tell you the whole backstory of this particular part. It's really interesting to hear some of those things, and you'll hear, God.
You'll see guys that show up with one of one.
Yeah.
And a guy brought a Redline Cruiser. It's number one. Well, how'd you end up with it? Oh, I found it at some garage sale in Orange County.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and then some of those guys, Darcy and them, get a little out of hand. They're on the internet trying to find the right races, trying to find the right pedals, trying to find the right comp brakes. Man, just put it together and have fun. But no, they're all about, it's got to be 100% or don't come.
So, like the authenticity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's right on. Those guys. I could name 100 dudes that are so far into this that it's a lot of fun. It gives me something to do. It gets me out of the house, and it's cool.
For people that don't know, maybe the best way to explain, it's like a car show. You go to a vintage, a car show, you see vintage stuff from, way back when, 50, 100 years ago, to something that's maybe only a couple years old or even brand new, but there's something unique and different about it, so it makes it special. So those type of things show up at these bike shows. The same type of thing.
What's crazy is Greg Romero brought all 3 of his factory bikes out
I saw some
a
pictures.
couple shows ago.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. Yep.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Greg is so hooked on this now, and he loves it because he's not racing that much anymore, but he trains and he rides, and he's normal.
Yeah.
One AA Pro is one of the best ever, and he brings those 3 bikes out. Let me tell you what, those are unreal bicycles, and you wonder why they were so fast back then. Those guys were good, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the other part of that is the 90s, right? Like that's now becoming vintage. And
because of time going on.
Fucking terrifying, Chris.
Yeah, you guys are getting old.
God damn it, we are. But like for me, that's what I was telling you earlier, man, Bill. Like that's when I got in the sport. So like you were talking about Greg's bike, because I saw those pictures of the GT and damn it, I'm gonna
Box series and all that.
Yeah, but the other 2 bikes he had,
Auburn and a Robinson.
That's
it.
Auburn's,
That fucking Auburn, it'll get me every time.
His Robinson is unreal.
Yeah,
he took the whole thing apart and had him pictures of him polishing it in the garage and waxing it and doing it. I mean, he's got some beautiful bikes, man, and it's cheaper than going to car shows.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, those Robinsons back in the day were just sharp looking bikes.
Yeah, the white one with the red, white, and blue stickers. I mean, it's all about that. That was Greg's. That was who he was. So.
What do you think is the part that's got you drawn into like hanging out and going to these bike shows for you?
Friends.
Yeah.
Guys I've raced with for 20, 30 years,
Yeah.
Now it's 40 years. I mean, I was racing Darcy and those guys. I think we were 13, 14.
Yeah.
My dad would have a football game at night in high school and then load us kids up and drive to LA, and we'd race Saturday and Sunday. And I think it's just reconnecting with these guys and girls and ladies and, so it's a lot of fun.
Now, it sounds like you've been doing these bike shows for quite a while now. How long?
See, probably, I don't know when the first one I went to, probably 2016 or 2017, I think. I started getting involved.
Okay. So do you think that kind of spun off into the Frogtown Dirty Fest?
Oh, yeah. Dude, they're so much fun. Mike and those guys and Todd and everybody putting these shows on and these bike races and stuff. Let me tell you what, if you've never been involved with BMX, go to these races, go to this stuff and see what it's about. It's about friends and family. These guys are your friends for 40, 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's because you raced a BMX bike. I don't even have friends I grew up with that I even talk to anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I talk to my BMX buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We're friends with Mike and those guys that do the Dirty Fest. Mike Miranda and James Vicente, Eric Carter, those guys. So we're getting a lot of that, and then we've kind of become buddies with John Cruz with the Frogtown stuff. So he's been talking to us about that quite a bit.
Yeah,
so
John just lives up the road from me. He's not too far.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. No, he's awesome.
Likes building the trophies and all the cool stuff, all the NorCal stuff. So.
Yeah. So
he made the clock over Chris's shoulder behind us.
Yeah.
You can see the
I
logo
saw
on.
that.
Yeah. He sent that to us. It was cool.
Like that to me has become like so interesting within our sport, because now you have the just BMX racing, but then we have the vintage racing, call it vintage, call it old school, whatever you want to call it. And it's neat because those events, as you know, Bill, like you've got the 90s, you've got the 80s or the 70s. Because I was looking at some of the classes and I'm like, I didn't even know like there was BMX bikes then. You know, the 76 or 77 ish. You know, that you have at those events. And again, you know, for myself, like experiencing it the other week at our local track, which was Richfield Park that put it on. It was really neat, and to see how big it is. You know, I feel like it's probably just going to grow.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, then they did racing too.
Well, yeah,
if you wanted to.
That's great. Yeah, great
It's
transition.
That's like Chris Moeller. Chris Moeller brings like 5 or 6 bikes, races them all.
Yeah.
All different classes from the 70s to the, till now, the new stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, out like at the Dirty Fest and that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Frogtown, he'll show up and bring 4 or 5, 6 bikes, and just race with everybody. It don't matter.
Well, that's like at Richfield Park when they did this thing. They're like, okay, so if it's 2000 or earlier, you can race it. And I hemmed and hawed for a couple of minutes. I'm like, you know what, the heck with it. I'm going. So I grabbed my bike and went up there.
Patterson?
Yeah, I was nervous. I'm like, if
Bill,
something
this
happens
thing
to
is
this thing, I'm going to be
Let me tell you.
so mad at myself.
It is so mint. And,
You have a chrome one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's dude.
It looks just like it did in 1989 when it went in the basement.
Yeah. So
I
you'll
was-
never get rid of it.
Dude,
No.
I was announcing and was shocked. 'Cause,
When I showed
to
up
see
on
him
it.
in the gate, like, he brought it, he set it up, he had a lot of looky-loos at it, like, oh, man,
Yeah.
But, like, he rolls in the gate. I was like, I think Paul and I, the announcer at the track, even made, like, some jokes, like, anyone scratches Chris's bike is going to jail.
Yeah,
We couldn't believe, like, Chris put the bike. And didn't we have 9 people? 'Cause we
Oh,
had
there
to-
was more than that.
We had to squeeze.
We were all
everybody. It
squeezed
was
in
like
the
10
gate.
people
Just
in the
everybody
gate.
kind of swished in there.
And it was awesome because those bikes were way too short or whatever.
Oh, it was so. It was weird to ride it because I have a modern, I have a Supercross, Vision F1 Carbon Supercross. To go from that, just race that, and then jump on this thing. Oh, it was like night and day. But then at the same time, I'm like, this really. It was like a flashback to when I was a kid. It was really kind of cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is it. And it was cool.
Well, what do you take to your vintage shows? Like, do you have a collection, Bill?
Yeah, I just have my stuff. I showed I have the number one Sharp cruiser frame that I kept when they first came off production.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I kept that bike, and I built it with parts that I had from the era of the year that I started the company. And so I've been taking that bike all over to shows. That's So then Mark finally said, "Hey, you're coming to LA. You need to bring your red Sharp frame, your original 1997 that was built by Boss. You need to bring that bike." I said, "All right, I'll bring it." So then I get third place with that bike. I've never, and all I did was knock the cobwebs off, get the spray wax out, clean it up, and take it down there. And it was a blast. So.
Yeah. So these things are I already know this. I'm just asking so people understand that are listening and watching. These bike shows are like a car show in that they're judged by a group of judges, group of people, and then they place them like first, second, third.
Yep.
You get a trophy or a plaque.
You got a trophy or you get a number plate, plaque. They did it at Frogtown. They did a nice little plaque thing. Dirty Fest. They did a cool little number plate. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
So,
yeah. But it sounds to me it's a lot more about just hanging with the people.
It is. It just brings back so many memories. And that red bike that's right there, I've got a lot of years in racing on that bike. Still the same wheel set, still the same frame and fork that I put on there in 1997.
I'll see. That's cool.
The only thing I've done is over the years is tires, tubes. I've changed the cranks out because I stretch them, but other than that, it's all the same.
Yeah. Tires are the problem. That's the only thing I guess I should.
They don't
I've changed
last at all.
No, I've changed the tires 3 times on the Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah, and they put that slurry stuff on the track and makes it fast and all that stuff, but it
Yeah.
just chews everything up. Just ride dirt, man. It's fun.
Yeah. No, it sounds really cool.
Is there a we asked earlier, was there a race bike you wish you could have had? Is there a vintage bike now that you wish you had your hands on?
Probably my first DG that I had.
Oh.
Okay.
And I had a DG for a while, and it was a DG with a hollow gusset. So we'd get styrofoam or foam, spray it blue or red or whatever color your components were, and put that in the gusset. So if you had red rims on a yellow bike or a chrome bike or whatever, then you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess nowadays that bike is worth a fortune, because only Robert down there in San Diego that has that DG collection.
Mm-hmm.
If you could ever find that frame, he says you probably could retire, because they don't have that stuff. You can't find it,
Yeah. See, that stuff's cool.
Man.
Yeah.
How many do you think, those, like you just said, Robert said, like, oh, if you had that bike, you could retire. Like, how many do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how many were made. Who knows? Those guys were just making stuff.
Right.
People needed it. They didn't go out and build, 500 frames and expect to sell them. Bike shop would call. That's when they were building the stuff. They were just.
Yeah. And I would
Yeah,
and I would imagine back then there wasn't a lot of real care taken with serial numbers on bikes. It was just crank them out and send them.
Stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many do you think got thrown away?
Oh gosh.
Sold in yard sales for some kid moved out. The parents are like, $3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a rough one. That's a rough one.
I think I sold mine to a kid I grew up with, and somebody told me that kid, it's still hanging in his garage.
Oh,
and I've never tried to get a hold of him or anything to see if he still has it or not.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Those infamous stories of those bikes.
Cook Brothers was the same way, because DG and Cook Brothers. Then you had Patterson and other people getting involved back then. So a lot of the older Pattersons were really hard finds too. I mean,
the nickel plated.
Chris Al, I grew up with racing. He passed away 4 years ago, and he had a factory Patterson frame that was gray. Not too many of them were gray.
No, especially the early ones. Weren't they all nickel plated?
Yeah, his was gray. His was painted gray.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So there's a lot of stuff that's out there that people don't remember. If you weren't a NorCal guy, you probably would never even seen this stuff. Unless it was on Brian or Brent's or John's factory bike or something. But a lot of those guys, they ran chrome. So
that was a big thing back then.
Yeah. But if you had a painted Patterson or a painted Boss or any of those bikes, those were the cool ones. They were different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Back then, most stuff was chrome plated.
Yeah.
In the 80s, anyway. Yeah. Yeah. That's wild.
They don't do much of that now.
Chrome?
Yeah.
No.
You got all the carbon fiber.
The only thing.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Bill Ryan has brought back the Torker brand, and those frames are chrome plated.
Yeah. Yeah, they're cool.
They are cool looking. Yeah.
We're going to do a quick chat check-in, Bill. We're just keep everybody on the screen. You guys hang with us here. Our chat check-in is brought to you by our good friends over at BMX Rocks Photography, who brought us our chat question this evening, which, if you guys weren't tuned in when we started, what are you guys doing for training if you're going to the Grands? So you guys, if you weren't in earlier, put it in there now. Put it in there now. But we want to thank John Gay, and correct me if I got the last name wrong, John Gaynor, for joining us. He's been in, commenting a lot, sharing some stories. We appreciate it. Jim Sievert's been in there. He says Bill wishes he kept his S&M Speedwagon Cruiser he gave me.
Yeah, he wanted to go to the Worlds, right?
Yeah.
And he goes up. He needed a bike to go to Oregon, and I'm like, dude, I go, I got a brand new frame and fork Speedwagon. If you want it, take it. So he goes, yeah, I need a bike. I need a cruiser. So he's building it on the way up to the national to
Okay.
qualify for the Worlds,
Yeah.
and he barely he should have won it, but he just barely. I forget who beat him, but it's like that he can ride anything. You can give him a Huffy.
Oh, for sure. You remember the S&M RVs before the Speedway?
Yeah.
Oh, I had there's a guy that hangs out at the track we were talking about earlier that he has one of mine from that 2000 era-ish. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah,
I'm like, why don't you let me get – and he kept it. So I had a buddy – you remember the Mary Kay remember they still might be doing it. But remember how Mary Kay would give the pink Cadillacs away?
Oh, they do. They still do those.
Okay, so my buddy worked for the company that would paint the Cadillacs for the Midwest.
Oh,
painted the frame.
yeah.
Him and I just did these kind of gags on each other living together. So he grabbed my bike one morning. I worked evenings, he worked mornings. Grabbed that bike, took it to work, and he painted that thing, and he put a pearl finish on it. And he, like, at work, they painted it, they did it, he put it back together, sat it, like, right in the spot it was. And I woke up, and I'm like, It was black that morning. I wake up, and it's Mary Kay pink. However, the cool thing was, if you remember then, all the frames that were painted were black, right? So I'd be at a national. I could find my bike in the air, back then. I don't think the Christmas class was still around, but Tennessee, the poor man's grands. You'd go to Tennessee at Christmas.
Louisville.
No. You'd go to Tennessee in the NBL.
At the indoor.
Yeah. So I remember, like, you'd have it put down at the side, and I could find that bike, like, all the way across the arena. Like, oh, no, there it is. He totally got me. Other people joining us, Robert Cardozo, thank you for joining us this evening. Ken Kellogg, he's taking me down a walk down memory lane with our friends that we did BMXing with, and he's, like we were talking about, Bill, he's one of the guys that he's one of the guys that got me into BMX many, many years ago, and we're still friends to this day. And we still talk about, like, all the bikes we've lost and places we rode and everything like that. Appreciate you for tuning in this evening. Thunder Midget from the Beer Budget Show. Appreciate you for tuning in. Dave D'Ortonia. He actually just shared with us that he wrote a cast-in that Mike Melvin from the Hack Shack brought up for Dirty Fest last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure. He said Mike Melvin brought me a cast-in the race at Dirty Fest. You guys got any other bikes you want to hear about, talk about?
Or pictures. Put a picture in there of an old school.
We won't see it.
Well, we'll see it. No, we'll see it afterwards.
Yeah. If they post it, we won't. Yeah, we don't see it in the software.
Yeah, because we can roll back through the chat after we're done, like on Facebook or Instagram, or wherever it is. Just throw it on there.
Yeah. Robert wanted us to pass along that he said hi, Bill.
Robert.
Who's that? Robert
Cardozo.
That's a dude. That's a good dude right there.
Yeah, he's got some stories.
Oh yeah.
Then John said he's still racing for Bandit Racing. Appreciate you sharing that with us. That's going to be our chat check-in. We appreciate all you guys that are tuning in right now and sharing your stories, sharing your comments with us. We appreciate it. And we teased earlier. We got a pretty good trivia package this evening.
A prize package?
Prize package. And Bill, you actually gave the answer to the question we're going to use in a little while for that. So when you did. Yeah. You didn't even know. So when we get to that, don't give it away.
Yeah, so you guys hang on for that one. We'll be in a little bit, but it's going to be a big package of stuff.
Super prize pack.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there.
If I could have found my sharp sprocket, I'd have thrown it in. But.
Hey, just don't let Darcy play, because that guy wins every damn raffle.
Does he?
At every bike show. Yeah, 50-50. When we went to Dirt Fest for the last couple of years, or Frogtown, he wins everything. And it's like, dude,
really?
This is rigged, or you have good luck. I don't know what it is, but every time he wins something,
Hey, it's probably luck.
Cheats.
So What was it, and when was it that you kind of decided to scale down and, not do, sharp anymore?
I don't remember the year, but
Mm-hmm.
my dad came down with cancer.
Okay.
So I'd brought in a friend of mine and to help me with the business and do stuff, and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
We butted
Okay.
heads. We love each other. We're friends till today. We're still friends. I see him every once in a while. He still races, and we just parted ways, and that was the end of it. And that's how I left it. So
Right.
Okay.
Fair enough. So you're still racing, still doing the local thing, doing the states and Gold Cups, having fun. You've been in the sport obviously a while.
Just a little
Just
bit.
a little bit. Probably knows a little bit about them BMX actions that Prince sent you.
Oh yeah.
What do you think's been like the biggest change lately?
Quick little.
Got some old school. We got some old school reading. We
Yeah.
brush up on here in the studio.
We need to have a little history lesson every now and then.
Yeah.
Bill Prince sends us BMX action.
I just think there's too many nationals. I think there's too much
Yeah.
as far as the races. When you go back 10 years, 15, even 20 years, you had a handful of NBL and a handful of ABA you went to.
Yep.
Now there's so much that parents can't afford it, man. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Well, and I think,
And now it's 3 days instead of 2.
yeah. And let me tell you, the working family, man, it's hard. So this is what I'm seeing. This is just my opinion, is
That's
that
fine.
you're going to the States. A lot of guys are doing the state series or the Gold Cup series because they don't want to do the national thing. They want to do, or the 4-star series that Garcia's put on.
Yeah.
Those are that's BMX. Go race for Saturday and Sunday, lick your wounds, go to the next one in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next month, whatever. There's just so many nationals. And when I had Sharp full time running, I mean, I had guys going to NBL, I had guys going to ABA, and then it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're spending 50 grand a year just on that stuff.
Wow.
And then you got to go, okay, what grants you going to go to? What are you going to qualify for? Back when we raced, I did my 6 or 7 or whatever I could at NBL to try to get a top 10. And then I do the same with ABA, and then you show up at a Gold Cup or you show up at a local race and you can transfer those points.
Yeah.
I always ask Barry belt buckle. I said, "Hey, how come you have so many trophies? What did you do?" Because a lot of guys are close with him in points, and all of a sudden he wins it. He just got the system down,
Right. Yeah.
But it was harder back then. It was harder to hit certain races. You couldn't go to nationals every weekend. All those guys are factory GT or factory whatever, but it's like it still takes a toll on your body. It still takes a toll on your checkbook. Flying all over, driving all over.
Well, and the other thing you think, like back in the day, like in the 80s, because that was my time. You had NBL War of the Stars, and they would run in the summer, and I might have this wrong, but
Orlando,
Florida, right? You'd run, let's say June, July, August, September. You would run just about every single weekend, but then in the later October, November, December, January, there were here and there. They weren't every, like if you look at the USA BMX schedule now, almost every single weekend there's a national.
It's a lot.
I mean, they skip a week here and there, but and like we said earlier, they're 3 days now. They're Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. Where back when it was Saturday and Sunday, and most of those War of the Stars races were pro. Now the pros only have a handful of races they hit.
Yeah.
And what triggered that was when you said it takes a toll on your body. That's why there's only a handful of pro races. They don't race every weekend.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the amateur side's rough, like Bill's saying. It's
Yeah, man. You see kids taking digger. Guys my age.
yeah.
You know, you look at Ramonde. Ramonde crashed and broke like 8 ribs.
Oh,
He's still in the hospital.
I hope. Hey, we're sending
You
out
know?
our condolences and best wishes to him too. Hope he's healing up.
yeah, heal up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it takes a toll, and those guys race every weekend.
Yeah.
In local, they're racing during the week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Are you finding a lot more fun in doing what you're doing now than chasing
Yeah,
it?
there's no pressure. I just show up and have a good time and meet people and
Yeah, dude.
talk to people about the product. And hey, man, I used to ride your stuff, and that's what it's about. You know, I mean, I enjoy racing. Don't get me wrong. I'll drive to Reno and race with Hacksaw and those guys, and they wait for me at the finish line. But you know, it's all good.
Right.
Well, now that we got Hacksaw out here on the East Coast, I can't wait to have him wait for me at the finish line.
I'm building stuff already.
He's a beast mode, man.
Did you give that guy a shovel and a tractor? You will have the raddest track and trails you'll ever ride. I never was a trail rider. Never.
Really?
Nope.
All them guys you sponsored?
Nope.
Get
Never got into it. Show up at the track. I'd be at Roseville 3-4 days a week.
Yeah.
Rio Linda the other days. Just riding all the time.
You ever get up to out to Sheep Hills?
Back then, yeah, I did.
Did you?
Those guys would call me and say, hey, come down. We're doing a session. But I was never a jumper. I couldn't jump. Shit, I'd break a bike or something, you know? So Hacksaw gets a hold of me through Robert Pierce and Tyson McPherson and says, hey, bring Sharp with you. You know, I want him to come to my trails. I said, Jim, I don't ride trails, dude. I've never been a trail rider. He goes, you flow. He goes, this stuff's easy to ride. You'll be all right. Man, I don't know how many times I crashed, you know, and then have to drive 2 hours home, skinned up or whatever, you know, but it was just a whole different regimen. And then you wonder why guys like Sievert can show up at a national and don't get a good gate, but then he's passing you in the rhythm or flying past you in the doubles and winning the race.
Well, it's because
that's what makes people mad.
They know how to pump all of the landing.
Hey, ain't nothing about pumping. Sievert's he's gonna blow by you on the back tire.
It's different.
You know, and it's just,
Tyson's in the chat right now.
Is he? Yeah, he just had a kid. He had a little girl. So.
Congrats.
Yeah, but Sievert was one of those guys. It's like, oh, you come up to my trails. You can ride my trails.
Yeah.
Well, then I got hooked, and then it was like my wife go, hey, where are you going this weekend? Oh, I'm gonna go see Chantel because she's in Reno going to college, and I'm gonna race and I'm gonna ride. And then I'd come home Saturday, text Jim, hey, you riding tomorrow too? Sunday, I'm going to go. Next thing you know, I got 100-something thousand miles on my truck for the year because I kept going to Reno every week. You know, it's just you get that itch, you know, and you're around good, positive people, and it makes a difference, man. It's just like any job or any friend you hang out with.
Sure.
When you're around people that just want to ride and be your friend, that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
That's what BMX is about.
It is.
You know? So.
And I know for us, at least for me, you know, we talked, you know, earlier, like how that local scene, the state scene, and I was injured right off the jump this year. I broke some ribs, so I missed the state series. But like, I've had more fun this season.
Yeah, but you announced it almost every single one of them.
Yeah, because I was broke.
So you were racing and announcing, right?
Well, no. Like I was, like my ribs were broke, so I still went to those races and would announce.
Yeah.
But
you're supporting.
Yeah, because well, like Chris is there, and those friends we talk about are all there. But then, like when I was able to start riding again, I was able to realize, like, man, I'm having more fun, and again, just showing up and riding than I was having at a competitive level. And it's just like you said, and you've conveyed it very well through the interview, is like it's just hanging with your friends and having a lot of fun. And for me, you know, 4 years ago when we started the show, going on 5, I was chasing this at a national level, going there and here and flying there and there. Not that it wasn't fun, it's just been more fun
Staying local.
Oh, it's been a blast, and being able to, like what you're talking about, talk to people, meeting people.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, and like I feel as a whole with the sport, it's kind of happened. Maybe it's the can't afford to go to all these nationals, or maybe you did the nationals and got the qualifiers in early, and then you're able to do the
Local scene.
Yeah, because it has been a lot of fun, and
yeah, it's cool. Like we're at a local race here. We have a couple of pop-up tents and stuff, and whoever wants to hang out with us, just bring your stuff over and hang. We don't care.
Yeah. If you end up somehow out here, you got a spot under the tent.
Yeah,
Bill.
Yeah,
you guys don't know how to ride your bike back there.
No. Let's do this trivia.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Are we going to show all this stuff we got?
I will in a second.
All right.
Some ghetto stuff?
We have some ghetto wear. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we have Melissa's trivia question, who Melissa is off tonight.
It's the Melissa trivia question.
Yeah, say that again.
Nope.
So it's sponsored by Dye Job Apparel. And throughout the evening when we've been talking to Bill, we've come up with a question. We're going to ask you that. And first person to get it right in the chat, we'll send this out to you.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go. We're gonna go full screen on Chris and I real quick, just so we can
show off what we got here.
Yeah. So thanks again for everybody that sent stuff in, the sponsors that help the show keep going and help pay for the stuff that we do. We appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to say we got an autograph from a legend that won. A main event at the Waterford National. Chris autographed a Waterford Oaks Stars and Stripe National. So you're going to get his autograph, and he's a main winner. I don't know if you know this or not. If you guys watch the show, you definitely do. You get his autograph.
How many are on the gate?
17. And
17.
Not only are you going to get that, you're going to get an All Things BMX. These are magnets.
Brand new.
Yep. You got a pin from All Things BMX. You got a keychain. You have the sticker pack from Ghetto Wear. You have the sponsor sticker pack, which has Danger Snacks in it. And
gate 9 number plates I can see from here.
Yeah, and Huck, if you guys aren't following him on social media, Huck threw some rocket tops in, and these are
the
valve covers. Yeah.
So
you have that.
You guys got to check out Huck Herensky, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's riding for Huffy. Young kid,
beast,
and
dude.
He's just ripping it up. He's out at Ray's Indoor Mountain Bike Park all the time.
The kid is everywhere.
He's all over the place.
He did
man.
the
contest,
USA BMX freestyle thing. He's killing that.
Yeah.
You got the new Hack Shack order sticker and Krupp and Carter sticker. We got everything. There's lots of stickers in the sticker pack.
I think there's a Carly Kane in there.
Yep. Some Ghetto Wear stuff coming to you along with the sticker pack. You have a Wrenchman beanie.
Oh.
It's getting a little chilly in certain areas. All right.
Dang.
And
Wrenchman, you need to throw one of those over here, man.
Oh, you have a Harley Davidson pin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We have a Harley Davidson shirt from Motor City Harley-Davidson.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Cool.
And there's more. So from our friends at Krupp and Carter, you have the BMX instructor shirt. It comes with multiple stickers and a pin right here.
Cool.
Okay. And we'll throw everything in
the old
Motor City Harley-Davidson
backpack.
Swag bag. Okay.
There we go. So,
let me get this out of the way. Oh, last but not least, the Ghetto Wear limited edition patriotic sticker.
There you go.
Little red, white, and blue one. All right. Now that we got Bill back on screen, if you guys are listening to the podcast, just skip through the last part you had to listen to because they're not going to see it.
Well, they already passed it now.
They did. So earlier on in the show, Bill had said his first bike was a Moto Pro. And this bike was built in what area?
Oh.
There's a hint there. You get it?
Yep. Yep.
All right.
What area, meaning, let's say part of the country?
You get however you want to take it.
Yeah. Okay.
So he had the Moto Pro, his first bike, and he had said it was built in this area. It is not Detroit, Brandon Shaw, and it is not Tom Brady.
This is always Tom Brady's in there.
We always have someone, Bill, that answers Tom Brady.
Oh, that would be Dave.
So you guys go ahead and put in your answers.
See if you can get that one right.
And,
Maybe it'll be one of the guys from the old school shows.
Well, or could not be an answer already that's correct in there. But
West Coast guys out here.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, there's people from.
There's a couple
We have a guy from Australia in there sometimes.
Yeah, we did. No, he was in right when we started.
Was he?
Yeah, because he said good morning.
He said good morning. It's Thursday there.
He was already in. Mr. Boshin, he had chimed in from Australia when we started the show. Yeah, he listens to us during lunch.
Oh, that's right.
So he's had like a month of lunches not to for anything to listen to.
He's probably not happy with us.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Chris, there's been a lot of people pissed off. We ain't been doing shows.
And
Bill,
we just had to have a little break. We'll get back at it.
Yeah, you ain't joking. Wait, hang on. Let's give him a little bit more time.
Yeah.
You want to tell him who's going to be on next week?
Next week? All right. Next week, we're going to talk to the folks over at Ride Co. Clothing Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do some Nick Long shirts. I got a couple of those at the house. You know, they do quite a few other things. They're a sponsor of
Lita Beeman.
Alita Beeman.
Yeah. They go around to the Nationals. They're a national
they're
sponsor.
A vendor. Yeah,
and look forward to them. And
get their story.
They're from Michigan.
Oh, that's right.
Can't believe it took us this long to get them on.
I know. It's kind of bad on us, isn't it? They're right here.
You've done some like limited edition Nick Long shirts and some other pros and stuff. Good quality stuff.
And that is next week?
Is that next week?
I don't know.
Oh shit. Hold on.
We got to double check.
Pretty sure it is, Chris. Oh, that's the 20th. So we got a week off.
Okay. So it's
you guys got a week off.
all right. Yeah,
Get your shit together for Grands, okay?
Yep. There you go.
So not next week's guest. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
We're gonna toss it over to Bill. Bill, you got any shout outs and thanks you want to give before we close the show out this evening? We're gonna give you the screen to do that, and then we'll come back and you'll give the answer of what area your first bike was made in, and then we'll find out who our winner is. All right?
I don't even remember what I said.
I have it in case you don't, just so you know.
That'd be great. They go, yeah, it was made in.
If you don't remember, I can do another. I can give another hint, not to do with BMX. It's a dead giveaway, so everyone knows.
Yeah. No,
I got it. Yeah. But yeah, take it away, Bill.
No, I just want to thank my family, the kids and the wife for letting me do this for so many years. Dwayne Taylor, Eric Dyer, Chad, Colin, Cameron Birdwell, Jill, Scott, Barry Nilsson, Chad Roberts, Mark Darcy, Jason Johnson, Chris Al, because he's kind of got me started in it. Piper for bugging you guys about me. There's so many people out there. I could go on for hours, just and all the people that, I got cancer a couple years ago, and the people that reached out was unreal. Sorry, I'm emotional right now, but
that's fine. No worries.
Yeah.
Well, that's BMX, Bill, and like with Melissa, she's a breast cancer survivor. We've seen the support that this sport offers. That me personally, I was late to the game, and I can't tell you there isn't anything else that compares to it. Like the BMX family just rallies around those and supports those.
Yeah.
I mean the text messages, I'm in the hospital, and the text messages I'm getting just from people that, God, I don't even remember this person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what was cool,
Right.
So.
Right.
here a few years ago, Bill, Melissa's mother was diagnosed with breast cancer also. And, we decided, hey, we're going to
do a fundraiser.
We did a fundraiser at a track, right?
Help with some of the bills, yeah.
We mentioned it a few times. A few text messages later, I started coming home every day after work in the same way you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
Man, there were days I'd park and sit in the driveway because I'd look on the porch and I saw boxes sitting there.
Yeah.
And, that's what BMX does. There were frames. There were parts,
shirts,
A
stickers.
lot of people like to give,
Yeah,
and
that was the way they knew they could help, right? Because we had said whatever you can do, whatever. And and like you said, Bill, that support through the messages to the shows to all of us, man, it was, it really showed like how awesome this is. And back to like you said with those old school shows, vintage shows, that's where those friends come from. You don't get to make friends typically after high school that last a lifetime. This sport gives you friends that last a lifetime well after high school and beyond.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get texts all the time from people that I do kind of remember, but then when you're laying in the hospital bed and people are texting you, hey man, well, if you need me, blah blah blah, it was unreal. And some of these guys were texting me 2 and 3 times a day. So
that's
John,
good.
John
people,
just
man.
shared with us that there was over $60,000 raised at Frogtown for John Cruz and his
for Davis Finney Foundation.
Exactly.
His stuff, yeah. That's awesome, John.
That's what the sport does, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It does. It's it's family, but it's a close family.
It is.
So.
That's so cool.
I'll share one more quick story and then we'll get our winner.
Right.
We took a trek to Grants in 2020, Bill, and on the way home, Melissa and I decided to take a detour to Texas.
Not exactly on the way home to Michigan.
No, it's not. We had to go
From
visit
Oklahoma to Texas to Michigan.
Yeah, it was a detour. It was It was just slightly off.
We had to go visit Chris Allen at DeSoto BMX, and so I'm like, well, hell, man, and this is one of the only times I'm going to get to, race there,
Right.
and get to see that BMX family because
Big Top.
Chris has been a huge supporter of the show at that time, still is.
Oh yeah,
so
good people, man.
we're like, let's go. And I remember her and I were like, the navigation took us down like some, expressways way over there, and we're here. We're in a very nice rental, but Melissa had said something, and I said, it doesn't matter what happens. We have BMX family, and we were in Texas.
Yeah.
We live in Michigan. And it didn't matter if that car broke down or you ran out of money, the bike broke or whatever. Like we knew all we had to do was call, and the BMX families.
Yeah. Yeah. A helping hand is showing
it's
up.
the brotherhood, right?
Right.
It's the BMX brotherhood. Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Look at that. Huck you mentioned him, and he showed up in the chat.
What's up, Huck?
Yeah. He said he said the BMX community is filled with great people. So. Let's add to the trivia giveaway. You ready?
Adding.
So Motor City Harley Davidson's got a koozie.
Beer koozie.
We have some sunglasses. Okay.
Oh, we're adding more to it.
Yep. And chapstick, keychains from Ghetto Wear and Motor City Harley Davidson, and your own sticker from Motor City Harley Davidson. I tell you,
sweet.
It's a super mega. We'll call it the Sharp gift pack.
There you go.
Ready?
Yeah, because it's really sharp.
It's really sharp. There you go, Chris. Took the lead.
I'm going to set this up here while we're doing this because
the Motor City one.
I'll try to.
Right.
It'll probably fall. Yep.
So,
oh well.
Said, hey, where was that bike made from? During when you were talking earlier, you said my first bike. This is where it was. This is what it was. It was built in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And the first person to get that correct
was
Chris. Oh shit! I'm gonna slaughter his last name.
You can't do any worse than I would.
Abichan.
Abichan?
Where's he from?
Well, he needs to put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Abichan. Abushin. Chris, correct me in the chat real quick. Where are you from? He was the very first person with the correct answer. And Chris brought it in and got the right answer.
Sweet. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
So you need to message us here at the show with your address so we can ship this out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get that shipped.
Hey, Justin, I have a picture of that bike with me on it, so I'm gonna send it to you tonight.
Oh,
Cool.
cool. Because we'll post it
Yeah,
with the show.
It just dawned on me. I got a photo album that my dad like set aside
Uh-huh.
for me, and I just found it, and I found some pictures, and it's pretty cool. So
That'd be sweet because we'll add it to the, we'll put it in
Yeah.
the link for the show.
Yeah.
We can do that. Yeah. Plus, we want to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
there wasn't a whole lot made, and the first one I ever seen after that was at the first Frogtown I went to.
Mhm.
Guy had looked like brand new, and it was the guy that built them.
It's Abu Sean, and he's from Hesperian.
No, in LA area.
Yeah,
that's-
there he is.
Oh, okay. Geez, for a second there, I thought it was going to be like Spain or somewhere.
No, it's just no. And Brandon, I just replied to you. If you got stuff, anyone else listening to, if you got things you'd like to add to the swag packs that we give away, that Melissa does, you can just send it to the show. And just message the show page. We'll get you the address, and we'll get you included in the swag packs that we give away for trivia.
Send them in here to the Ethan Clark Studios.
Yeah, we'll just put them in the bags, man. Well, it was a great time, Bill, having you on the show this evening and learning about you and your history of BMX along with your company. We look forward to talking to you soon again.
Yeah.
Everyone for tuning in this evening after our break, thank you.
Yeah. And if you have any more events coming up you want to share, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to share them on our socials.
Yeah.
Get it out there for you. If you guys come east with one of these bike shows, we'd love to try and get to it.
Sure.
If we can.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome. But yeah, again, Bill, it's great to get to know you and meet you. It's been a lot of fun. Everybody else, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. We're going to skip next week.
Next week and then the 20th.
Sorry. And then we'll be back the 20th and we're going to talk to Rideco Clothing Company. So we'll find out about that.
And Bill, if you can hang out for a second before we sign off, that'd be great. All right.
Mm-hmm. So everybody, again, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. God bless you. Have a great night, everyone.